If the first game breaks, no get you know let us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, two games after this win. Rush it again, here for the first May. Carry my team down 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city. Great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. The old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I am Coach Jay.
Coach Jay, does anything say that we don't have a life more than the fact that we want to jump on and talk a little recruiting for Thanksgiving?
I can't think of anything better to talk about on Thanksgiving than recruiting personally, Boogie. I'm excited about it. I'm happy, man. I got the bat signal thrown up today. I don't know how Miss J feels about it, but, football sleeps for no one. Football sleeps for no one. So she'll get over it when she's eating old Coach Jay's cooking in a couple hours here. She'll feel good and warm and fuzzy inside.
See, that's my plan too. My plan is to talk a little recruiting. We're going to see where 4-star athlete Kam Mikell ends up, and then I'm going to go upstairs and immediately start cooking and get the Thanksgiving dinner ready. Going to decorate the Christmas tree, all kinds of fun stuff planned for tonight. Man, I talked to you earlier this week about this, and I'm like, no, we'll just leave it. We're not going to work on Thanksgiving. I woke up this morning, and I said, we got to go live and find out where 4-star athlete Kam Mikell goes. Now, it depends on who you ask. You look at the chat, you look at Twitter, he's a Georgia lock. Unless he's not. Then he's a Colorado lock. Unless he's not. And then maybe he's a Tennessee lock. We're going to find out. We're going to take you all the way up to the commitment. We're going to stream it live on air. Jump on here. Hang out. Wait. I got to hit this one. Dude says he can't think about nothing better than recruiting to talk about on Thanksgiving because Tennessee has nothing else to talk about. But let me ask you something, my friend. Why are you here? If we don't have a life, why are you watching two guys that don't have a life? It's a beautiful thing. The internet can never win. James Stevens becomes a member of the channel. I appreciate that support, James. Guys, if you like the content, the live streams, the videos, whatever it is you like about this channel, hit that join button down below. You can give $1. $1 a month. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. You support this channel. We greatly appreciate it. So shout out, James. We appreciate that. MG Way drops a $2 super chat. Do we have fresh intel on Jordan Seaton? That one's going to go all the way down to the wire, but you better believe that Tennessee is heavily in the mix there. Join us live tomorrow morning. We're going live at 9:30 a.m. We're going to be breaking down Tennessee Vanderbilt, but we're also going to talk a whole lot of recruiting. Myself, Coach Jay, and Coach Rice are going to be here. Robert Clark's been a member for 17 months. Shout out, Robert. We appreciate that support, guys. Come on in, smash the thumbs up, all that fun stuff. Man, I love reading the chat. He's a Georgia lock. We're going to find out here in about 30 minutes when he goes live. I'm going to cover that, but this is the man of the hour, four-star athlete Kam Mikell, 6 foot, 180 pounds, out of Statesboro, Georgia. Kind of where I want to start with this thing. First of all, I don't care what the finalists say. This is a three-team race. It's Tennessee, Georgia, Colorado. That's it. Now, he took officials to all three schools. He officially visited Georgia back in May. He was at Colorado on September the 8th. Tennessee later in September, he took his official visit. Now, something that's interesting, Coach, and I want to know your thoughts, how this impacts as we go down to the final hour. He took an unofficial to Georgia on November the 4th. Unofficial to Colorado on November the 11th. Then he came down with the flu. He was supposed to visit for the Georgia game, be in Neyland Stadium, comes down with the flu. A lot of people were calling it the Georgia flu. We know how Georgia likes to strong-arm kids and say, hey, you're not taking that visit. But Matt Ray from VolQuest truly believes that he had the flu. He took IVs in order to play in his playoff game on Friday night and didn't make it in town. A lot of people thought Georgia at that point, but now a lot of people are thinking Colorado. Any thoughts on him not making it into Knoxville?
If he had to take an IV, I don't know if anyone in the chat has ever taken an IV and then gone out and played a game before. Coach Jay has not done it, but he's seen it done twice, and in both instances, the person who did so was in really, really rough shape afterwards. So if that indeed was the case, then yeah, that certainly, sounds like a duck and walks like a duck and all that kind of good stuff. So maybe not put too much into that. If I'm not, was the last time he visited the South Carolina game, Boogie?
It was the September 30th.
That's the South Carolina.
Was that South Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, he's seen Tennessee. It was Coach Jay was in the house that night, as some of y'all know, and great environment at night against South Carolina that day. He's seen Neyland rocking. He knows we have a need. But I hope we get this kid. He's a good-looking kid. I will say this: Tennessee has already pulled the best wide receiver in the state of Georgia. So we've already ate our honey ham and our Thanksgiving turkey at the wide receiver position in the state of Georgia. We're just looking for a little pecan pie, or what's your all's favorite pie? Maybe in the chat. I like pumpkin cheesecake. I'm not a big cheesecake, just straight cheesecake pie guy.
I like pumpkin pie, but spoiler alert for Locked On Vols tomorrow. Kaner asked me the same question. I like a little pumpkin pie with my Cool Whip. I like a plate full of Cool Whip and just put a little bit of pumpkin pie in there on top of it, and that's a winner. Eric Wallen for a $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Eric. Thank you for the support. Thank you goes to Colorado, and we grab Seaton. Finish off with 4 more commitments. Elias Williams, Sensabaugh, and Roger Saliapaga, the tight end from Utah. I'll take it. Sounds like Roger. Is it Saliapaga or is it Sally? A lot of people throw an N in there. Saliaponga. I don't know how to speak their language. Is it Saliapaga? Ponga?
I think Ponga would be correct. But
see, I got to get with the culture. With the culture. Maybe Nico can educate me because he spent a little bit of time with Nico when he was in town. So I hope they close on him because, we talked about on the Wednesday night show, tight end is a definite position of need moving forward. I think you're going to have to hit the transfer portal hard and heavy. But thank you, Eric, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Guys, come on in, smash the thumbs up, hit that share button. I didn't advertise this thing at all. Just decided this morning, why not jump on, talk a little recruiting. Coach Shea answered the call. We're going to take you all the way up to the commitment. I see Matthew in the chat asking. He's going to commit live at 3 o'clock. We will share the live feed. You will be able to watch it here live on air. But let's talk about what Kam Mikell brings to the table. Again, 4-star. If you look at on 3 here, listed as a corner. If you look at 247 Sports, listed as an athlete, he plays both sides of the ball. Tennessee recruiting him at that wide receiver position. That's something we'll get into in just a little bit that's interesting as well. But you can see there the On3 industry rankings have him as a top 100 player. If he did ultimately end up at Tennessee, he would be the highest 4-star in the class. He would only be behind the 5 stars, Mike Matthews and Jordan Ross. That tells you how good of a player he is. He is elite, top 100. The scouting report, Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports says a wiry two-way athlete with top-flight speed markers. Clocked one of the fastest 40-yard dash times at the 2023 National Combine. 3-time state qualifier in the 100-meter dash. Man, how many times, particularly at the wide receiver position, guys that Coach Heupel is recruiting, do we pull up in their state qualifiers or their track guys, their speed guys? They run elite times in the 100-meter dash, and that's something that Kam Mikell's done. Ran a personal best 10.5. 10.5 in the 100 meters. Do you remember what Jalen Wright ran? I never,
not off the
like,
top of my head,
obviously it was elite. Cam Seldon, man, as big as he is, he set state records in the 100-meter. Speed, you cannot teach speed, and I think Josh Heupel's doing a good job recruiting SEC speed. Goes on to say he's lined up at quarterback, wide receiver, running back on Friday nights, found success in those roles, but is viewed by a lot of schools as a defensive back at the next level. Displays excellent short area quickness, and is an overall fluid mover with obvious burst. Does a nice job of keeping his eyes on the quarterback while working at defensive back. Willing to make a tackle in space, but improved technique will likely make it easier to get much larger ball carriers to the ground. A threat to score anytime the football finds his hands as he strings cuts together and does his best to take away angles from defenders. Should be viewed as a perimeter playmaker that can impact games in a variety of different ways. Goes on to say he could very well emerge as a slot receiver on Saturdays that offensive coordinators favor on swing passes and jet sweeps, but a longer frame that's over 6 foot might be valued more in the secondary at the program of his choice. Goes on to say he's got an NFL upside. Coach, you said you watched the tape. You took some notes on it, so I'm going to pull up his junior highlights. We're going to take a watch as you kind of go through and talk about Kam Mikell as a player.
Yeah, I kind of like it when my notes jive with what the recruiters are seeing. So I mean, I'll just kind of read what I had. He's a great athlete. He's very fluid. He has great coordination with the ball in his hand. Sometimes he can run a little too high at times, but when he needs to lower his shoulder, he certainly can do so. So, just getting him through some shoot drills will certainly help them. As you see, the straight end speed is what jumped out. It is elite to me. He's got great makeup, long elite speed. So a great cornerback, when they get a step behind against the deep ball, certainly sticks out to me. Good outs, could work a little bit on some technique stuff, guys. A little bit of his outside leverage, inside leverage work leaves something to be desired. He is extremely quick and fast, like I said, but I think he's elite fast, but I don't find him to be elite quick personally. I think he's quick. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say he's just fast and elite fast, but not quick. But elite quick, I don't know that I necessarily go that far with him personally. Good hands, can catch the ball. Dynamic. You see him lining up at quarterback. The offense likes to line him up all over the field. You see he's extremely hard to bring down. We see him, coming off right here. Just great knack for the football. Back at quarterback right here. Steps back. Little deuces underneath post pattern. Nothing to go here. Finds the open man. Just a good overall football player. We always talk about it. You want it's like the best compliment you can give a kid, right? They're a football player. Like Jawan Jennings was a football player, right? And you can have them at any dang position there is, but give me 11 guys like that. Give me 11 Jawan Jennings, give me an 11 just any one of those great Tennessee all around players. Give me 11 Eric Berries. Eric Berry was a football player, right? You could dang near line him up anywhere, and he would be special. There you saw him in inside leverage and getting shaked out. Good looking kid though. Good looking kid, Boogie.
Look at that timing. It was almost as if we planned this. Like, it's not that I woke up and decided to go live and you randomly got the bat signal and said, I'll jump on. You timed that speech out? Did you look in the mirror and watch his highlights and just time that out perfectly?
I watched the same video and just kind of literally jotted down what I was seeing and just read it top to bottom. So I could kind of tell just by the scouting report you read, though, that it was kind of going to jive too with what I thought. But as far as the cornerback or slot receiver question, I find that really interesting too. I didn't know necessarily Tennessee was recruiting him as a slot. I thought just as a corner, but at the very bottom of my notes, I do have, I think he grayed out as a high corner, but I would not be surprised to see him slide into the slot if he can't fit some of his mechanics in outside leverage.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Tennessee is recruiting him to play wide receiver. Georgia recruited him to play defense, just straight defense the entire way until the final hour. And then they started saying, okay, yeah, maybe we'll recruit you to play a little offense. And I'm wondering if that's why Georgia is starting to fade. And people are probably in the chat saying, oh, this guy's an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. When you go and you look at what Chad Simmons is saying, when you go look at what Steve Wiltfong is saying, you go look at what VolQuest is saying. And look, let me run through VolQuest takes, and then we'll come back to the position.
Sure.
Yesterday afternoon, and this was, at the time, I'm like, I'm not covering this. He's going to Georgia. Everything indicates he's going to Georgia. Yesterday at noon, Matt Ray does a great job. It's amazing that VolQuest has Matt Ray and Austin Price. They're the two best when it comes to relationships and covering recruiting. At noon, this is what Matt Ray had to say. I've heard more Colorado, Tennessee as he has entered the home stretch over the last 36 hours. To my knowledge, he still hasn't told a school a definitive answer yet. That's interesting. He says he wanted to have it finalized by this afternoon. We will see, but do not discount Colorado right now. All right, I'm like, okay, still not covering it. Don't discount Colorado, whatever. An hour later, he follows it up and says there's no indication right now that Georgia's completely out of this thing. Cam has been very old school in his approach, but he's also been genuine. Now, yesterday, about an hour after that, 2:19, Austin Price comments and says he is not going to Georgia. I said, we are going live. That was my response to him not going to Georgia. Says, sure, sounds like Colorado could be the pick here. Now, follow that up today. What is the latest update from VolQuest? Today, Austin Price says, I've got people saying it's Colorado and people in Colorado saying that they have not spoken to him. This kid hasn't given it to anyone to the best of my knowledge, so who knows how this is going to be. That's why we're live. If Austin Price doesn't know where this kid is going to end up, there's no way that Johnny in the chat or Tom on Twitter have any indication. Now, you may guess, and you may be right. That's the beautiful thing of recruiting. But let's get back to the position. That's the updates from VolQuest. I trust them. I believe them. I think if you're not a subscriber to VolQuest, you should be, because they are the best in the business at what they do. But let's go back to the position again. Georgia recruiting him at defense. Colorado, do you think part of the sell is maybe, hey, look, we got a guy that we played both ways. You can come here and do that. And then Tennessee recruiting him as a wide receiver. Kind of the same conversation we've had about Boo Carter, right? He wants to play offense, or he wants to play offense. They're recruiting him to play defense, still have him in the boat. How much does it really mean? How much does it really matter? Do you tell this kid what he wants to hear?
I don't see our staff telling him what he wants to hear. I really don't. I think they've always kind of kept it real. Maybe even to a fault at times, but you know what? Be comfortable. You're in your own skin is what I say. And hype has shown he's not going to go out there and, make a promise he can't keep to a kid on starting time. He'll give him an opportunity. He's not going to lock you in the basement until you sign your name on the dotted line either. He's going to let you breathe a little bit. He's going to work on building that relationship and kind of rely on his scheme as being what he can sell you on. So, I think we're going to be all right with this one. And I think we were smart not to oversell ourselves, and hopefully it pays off with a kid that seems to be genuine.
No, final notes from Chad Simmons. Now, this was on the 20th, so this was a few days ago. Says it's shaping up to be a battle between Georgia and Tennessee, but Colorado is not going away. The 4-star out of Statesboro didn't make it to Knoxville over the weekend. Again, I wonder how much impact that has. Right with Kai Bates, we saw the same thing with Kai Bates, although he wasn't sick. He just didn't take the visit, and then he's like, we've not even heard about Kai Bates from then, right? The guys at GoVols 247, VolQuest just kind of completely hung that one out to dry, but Cam Mikell just feels a little different. Says Georgia has surged in recent weeks. The Bulldogs may have a slight edge heading into the decision. Colorado remains in contact. He has family. This is another interesting point here. Amontre Bradford is committed to the Buffaloes, and he sees good branding opportunity. I'm putting you on the spot here. What do you think that means? Because that's something that Austin Price said, is that the mom, Cam Mikell's mom, kind of buys into what Dion is selling for branding.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, in the NIL, era, there's no guarantee you're going to make the NFL, right? The NFL is its own animal. It spits you up and chews you out even when you do make it there. If I'm an elite high school player, I'm trying to get paid now, right now. Right now is when you can make money. Take it while you can get it while the getting is good is what I say. So, for the mom to buy into that, she's probably just got a good business head on her shoulders, I would say. But then there's the balance, and we've talked about it before, of getting developed. And I'm not saying that Dion's not developing people there, but to me, there's been some red flags on that team this year that go beyond just, not having the right guys there. They've kind of turned on themselves a little bit in the locker room. They've kind of been eating themselves at times and just not kind of shown the right kind of attitude. So for me, Heupel and Dion walked into a very similar situation, right? Mm-hmm. Where everything had, been vacated and gone. And man, they handled it in two completely, different, separate ways. Heupel rallied around the kids that stayed. Dion told the kids that stayed they weren't good enough, and I think it's kind of funny that a lot of those kids he told that were offensive line kids who bailed, and those were the best unit on that team that they had the previous year. Not that they were great, but it was the best unit. I think it kind of bit Dion in the butt, and I think if he was kind of reflecting, he might agree with that statement, maybe somewhere deep down within. So I just think there's kind of polar opposites between the two different coaches in a lot of ways, even though they're all both kind of flashy, but in different ways.
Let me hit a super chat real quick. Eric Wallen for another 2. Appreciate that, Eric. Thank you for the support. Says, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. If not us, hoping Colorado. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Brennan Crandall, been a member for 26 months. My man, I appreciate that. That is a lot of support. Says, happy Thanksgiving. Go Big Orange. We got almost 400 people watching live. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Thanksgiving. Short little stream taking you all the way up to the commitment from 4-star athlete Cam Mikell. That decision is coming right at 3 o'clock. So we're going to be streaming that live right here on the channel. So do us a favor, smash the thumbs up because that's quick, free, and easy. And hit share. Put this thing on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. For no other thing than Mrs. Boogie and Mrs. Coach J not saying, see, you guys are idiots. You wasted your time. You didn't accomplish anything. Let's keep the wives happy. That would be amazing. Share this thing out. Shane says 372 watching, only 95 thumbs up. It's all right. We're still going to have a good time. We're still going to talk some recruiting. We're going to get into the decision coming up in just a second. But when you look at this class of 24 right now, Coach J, Tennessee's sitting at 11th. And kind of throughout this whole year we've been striving for Tennessee to get that top 5. Josh Heupel came in and he's kind of backed into a corner. He became the head coach, a matter of weeks? I don't remember the exact timing, before National Signing Day. He got hired in January. He still managed to put together a top 15 class. And when you go back and you look at some of the names, James Pierce, a guy that's already making plays, Tyree West, Addison Nichols, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Webb, D. Williams, Squirrel White. He added a lot of talent in that first class. Do we want to be 15th? No, we got to strive to be better. Last year, class of 23, 12th. You end up 12th, but you signed the number 1 player in the country, and that's the foundation for the future of Josh Heupel. But as we look at 2024, we're right around the corner from early signing day. Obviously, you're trying to close on Cam Mikell. You're trying to close on Jordan Seaton. You're trying to flip a guy like Elias Williams. How would you grade Josh Heupel so far, and do you think Tennessee Where do you think they can end up right now? Currently sitting at 11th, according to On3.
I think they could end up as high as 5. I see them landing at about 8, personally. But yeah, I think Heupel's done a good job. Look, we were just talking about it just a second ago. The absolute dumpster fire that he walked into here at Tennessee. So he was really selling kids on himself and on the dream to build something special at the University of Tennessee. And of course, you can always recruit the power T, and the brand is strong. So that's always nice to have that to kind of fall back and lean on. But I think hype is, what's the right wording here? Maybe constrained in some ways on selling that dream because he's not over flash, right? He's not going to go over there and walk into a room and, give you a million Butch Jones brick by brick. And you know what I mean? He's not a used car salesman. You're not going to walk out of there buying his used GM, whatever, lemon car. You're just not. Coach is going to be honest with you. He's going to be genuine with you. And I think his sweet spot is going to lie somewhere between 5 and 12 until he can really explode. And you had a taste of that the previous season, but I think you're about to get a big spoonful of it. And when you get that big spoonful of it, that's when I really think you'll start to see us pop into those top 5 classes.
Yeah, I think, too, it's huge that the NCAA investigation, right? And it's kind of an excuse, but at the same time, it's the reality, man. It's the reality of the situation. You got to see how Josh Heupel is going to do on the field. And obviously, last year we saw the opportunities that were created by beating Florida, by beating Alabama, by being up there at the top. I mean, you were ranked number 1 in the college football playoff rankings. And yes, we know it didn't end the way we wanted to. And that's been the whole conversation this year as we've been on cruise control. Is 8 wins enough? Is it going to take 9 or 10? And here we are staring 8-4 right in the face. And I think, this class of 24 is not as high as I want it to be. If you climbed up to 7th, 8th, top 10, I'd be like, all right, the clock is ticking. Now we're going to judge Josh Heupel. Your guys are starting to be in place. And to be fair, we talked, 5-6 year rebuild, right? I mean, we said this is going to take time, but you're starting to get your guys in place. The number 1 player in the country is going to be the starter. There's no quarterback competition. There's no questions. This is your guy. You hand chose him over Arch Manning. This is your guy. It's time to go, and it's time to deliver. And I think 2024, while some think is not going to be the giant leap forward that maybe some of us other people believe that it's going to be, that's when the clock starts ticking on Josh Heupel. Eric Wallen paying the light bill today. We appreciate it, Eric, thank you for the support. Says roster is still weak. Next year will be a lot better. Year after that will be studs, and that will be our chance to win it all. I think we go 9-3, 10-2 next year. What do you need to see? Let's say Josh Heupel lands a top 10 class. I don't care if it's 7th, 8th, 9th. What do you expect from this team? And what you believe Nico can do, and what do you think is sufficient to continue this thing? I don't think 8-4 is going to hurt Tennessee too much as far as overall branding. But you go 8-4 this year and 8-4, 7-5 next year, I think that's when you start to kind of peak and go down.
Yeah, it's hard to count all those variables too, right? Like, so, yeah, number 8 class, if we get there this year, number 12 class and number 15 class, but there's other recruits on that board too, of course. There's all the seniors with the COVID year this year that are still on this recruiting board for Coach Josh Heupel. There's all the transfer portal kids that are still on this board for Josh Heupel. And then also, the comment about the roster being weak, the roster's young in spots too. So how do those guys develop is another huge part of this puzzle here. How does a guy like David Hobbs develop? How does a guy like James Pierce continue to develop? Does he take a step forward and become a true nightmare? Because he was super good this year, don't get me wrong, and he got good against the run too. But if he takes another big step forward, he could absolutely turn into a nightmare. How does a guy like Bison Lang develop? How does a guy like Reddick develop? Selden. There's just people all over this field. Shoot, does Nimrod take a huge step forward? He looks like he can. Webb looks like he continue to develop. Does Nathan Laycock, take a huge step forward? A guy with talent out the yin yang and grades out extremely high, big, tall, fast burner, can beat everyone. How does a guy like Ricky Gibson come in, this young secondary, this young, talented, highly recruited, highly ranked secondary. What do they look like from their freshman year to the sophomore year? Because if 2 of the 3 pan out, all of a sudden you got 2 corners who can lock people down. It starts to change dynamics. How does a guy like Boo Carter come in and look wherever we're going to put him? All these things play a factor into what kind of roster will be in front of Josh Heupel next season. If you hit at a high rate for these things, that I'm talking about, 85%, 90%, the Vols could step out and be better than people think. That's just kind of the bottom line as I see it.
We got Kam Mikell live right now. I got to say, this is a little awkward. I don't know if it's Grandpa. I don't know if it's Dad. Somebody's up there just praying to sweet little baby Jesus. And Kam Mikell's just got his Instagram live on, laughing, clowning. A little awkward. Shane C. Drops a $10 super chat. Says door fee, go Vols. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that super chat and your support. And we appreciate you, my man. Thank you for dropping in. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Let's turn on the audio. Let's see what's going on here with Kam Mikell as he nears his decision.
Use the gift that you have given him, Lord, to bring glory to you. Each success, Lord, we want to credit it to you. Even his failure, Lord.
This is so awkward.
Because in failure, he's going to be able to grow. He's going to become wiser because he is your child. And this is how you restore your growth, your grace on each and every one of us.
Let's go ahead and put our bets in right now, Coach Jay. Everybody gets mad that we do this, we cover this, we talk about this. I'm going Kam Mikell to Colorado.
Yeah, I'll take Colorado too.
To empower each and every one of us that are here right now to keep the faith.
Man, he's still just praying.
He Mama sitting with him. Mama like Colorado. I think I'll go with you on Colorado.
Jackie Biggle for 5 says, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Just hope Heupel can close the deal on Seaton, Cam, and Williams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Williams is a big one. That's a big target they're looking for, and obviously Seaton is huge as well. Thank you, Jackie, for the super chat. Look, I get it. People get upset that me and Coach Jay come on here and we talk recruiting. We've been following Kam Mikell's journey. It's fun to kind of put closure on it, see where he ends up. Look at those question marks. He's undecided. He has no idea. Either that or he's the Riddler. I'm not sure which one.
I'm going Riddler.
Hillbilly Sportsman, I'm not saying prayer is awkward. I'm saying Kam Mikell clowning into his Instagram feed while somebody's praying is awkward. Don't twist my words, man.
And 3 years feels like a lifetime.
He is the Riddler.
What do you think about this comment from Culberson? Colorado falling apart would be a waste. If you had to bet $1 million, will Deion Sanders be at Colorado in 3 years?
No, I would bet no.
So how is he selling these kids other than transfer portal, right? That's the option they have.
He's selling them on him, right? So Deion go, all the kids go with him, right? That you're not buying into a university, in my opinion. If you go with Deion, you're buying into Deion, right? So if that means he goes to whatever, insert whatever, Florida State, A&M, whatever school you want to call it, that he could end up at. Look at what happened with all his previous kids. They followed him. To me, the same thing happens. You're being sold on Deion. You're not being sold on the University of Colorado, in my humble opinion.
I want to just take a quick little moment to plug while we wait on Kam Mikell to make that decision. If you like recruiting, you like following the ins and outs of recruiting, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and dialed in. Click that bell for notifications. We are going to get hot and heavy into the class of 25. Going to be doing a live film breakdown on Jordan Seaton coming up probably next week after the Vanderbilt game, so tune in for that. We do as much recruiting coverage, transfer portal coverage. If that type of news interests you, make sure you're subscribed and dialed in. Let's go back and take a look at what's going on with Kam Mikell.
On the court, on the field, on the track, off of it. This is my guy. And it's crazy because it only took 3 years to do it. But there's nothing that I wouldn't do for this kid. Nothing. There's nothing I wouldn't do for his family. just my love for sports. You know, I got that back from Cam.
Be awkward if your family back there wearing Georgia stuff and you put on a Tennessee hat. That'd be awkward.
The eagerness to learn, the eagerness to be a good person.
Yeah.
The eagerness to grow.
Well, he's a Georgia kid, Tim. Tim Jones, Georgia fan, says a lot of red and black in the background. He's a Georgia kid, so
Yeah.
I'd say
Makes
a lot of his
sense.
family Georgia
Yeah.
fans.
Yep.
Miss Denise, thank you for trusting me with your son.
Yeah, well,
That's rare.
where you're from is a
I've never
powerful
really
thing in
had,
recruiting as well.
You know,
So
but you allowed me to take a nice
go to
look
Georgia.
on a visit.
I like it when you don't know. I will say that it's always more fun when you truly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so many people in like I said, on social media or whatever. You're an idiot. We laughed about it before we went live. We get it every time we go live. Oh, you're an idiot. Why are you wasting your time? I enjoy watching recruiting, and you can claim that you know where he's going, but if Austin Price, Matt Ray, Volquest, they don't know where he's going, guess what? You don't either. You can say you do, but you
4
don't.
years of your life, man, is always the next phase of your life. You know that.
But again, my bet's on Colorado.
Yeah, no, you nailed it though. I watch recruiting when Tennessee's not involved, so
You deserve it.
I just watch it all. So
It's fun. It's like I said, man. I feel like did we do a film breakdown on Kam Mikell? I can't remember. We've been talking about him for a long time.
I don't think we did. We owe him one if we
Always
get
look
it.
in the mirror and see yourself as
You watch these kids, you follow the journey. It's fun to put closure on it. And we're a couple of recruiting nerds. We're sitting here on Thanksgiving afternoon, morning, watching recruiting because that's what it's all about.
If you're not already doing that already, I don't know. But day in, day out, one day at a time, Cam, you clock in and you be the best version of yourself for yourself. And that's
How much pride do you take in it, Coach, as a coach, getting to watch one of your kids go to the next level and kind of seeing that decision?
It's the best thing, man. There's no better feeling than that feeling, man. I can't even describe it to you, you know, and that's any kid that makes it to the next level. I have a quarterback that we coached for a long time that won a Division III national championship, and dang it, I'm proud of that kid. And he just finally stepped away from football, and I made a point to go see him and tell him how dang proud I was of his football career and the man he'd become, because shout out Aiden Sanchez, by the way, a phenomenal football player and an even better human being. So I love it, man. There's nothing like that. That's where the reward is. And nothing's better than it. There's no better feeling than it, to answer your question. So when you get that random comment that's like, oh man, you're just a high school coach, what do you know, or what do you do that's useful? I have a lot to be proud of in what I do, and a whole lot to be thankful for.
Anybody that played sports in high school or in life, you look back on coaches, man, they shape your life. And especially in a day and age where sometimes dad ain't involved. Dad's not in the picture, right? Those coaches step in as father figures. That's why I love, Coach G was talking about the difference between coaching college versus the pros. And he's like, man, I'm shaping young men. Like, we're trying to develop. We're trying to get them to the league. We're trying to take that next step. But we're also developing young men. Guys, we got almost 600 people watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Don't you worry. We're going to get that commitment live right now. He's getting coaches talking, family talking, all that type of stuff. We're going to put him up on the screen when he gets ready to make that decision. So don't you worry. Make sure you guys do smash the thumbs up. Well, we would greatly appreciate that. Don't forget, we're going to be live tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Myself, Coach Jay, Coach Rice. We're going to be breaking down Tennessee Vanderbilt. We're going to be talking Tennessee football recruiting. Jordan Seaton, Elias Williams. We're going to take a look at everybody that was on campus. Some of the class of 25 guys. We'll start to break those down as well. So make sure you join us tomorrow morning. Let's see what's going on here. Still got a coach up there talking. Jason's not happy. He's like, what are these idiots doing? Hey, man, they're
filming
talking.
the ceiling on the bottom. Is that the ceiling?
That's probably Dion. Dion's sitting in his mansion.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Chris Farmer says, smash that thumbs up. We would appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Is it an open invitation?
How
Boogie Bentley,
awesome.
Talkin VAWLS Network. Cam, where are you going, buddy?
How awesome would it be if he just dropped a riddle
That's it.
and then walked off, and we got to figure out
Oh, we got to
where
go
he's
solve
going
it.
based off his riddle.
Yeah, what's up with the ceiling angle?
Are we inside of his riddler shirt? What's going on here?
This is the beautiful thing of tracking a high school kid as he makes his decision. The production value, it rivals the Talkin VAWLS network.
I really appreciate everybody coming here, and it's been a long journey. You know, we're trying to figure out all these schools because you know I've been like everywhere. I've been across the country, back and forth. I really appreciate everybody coming here too. Another thing, because you know, but it's been a long thing. Like all these coaches been talking to me, you know, everybody on this table, I was about to play defense for everybody, you know, and then I finally came, and then I came to the decision I wanted to play wide receiver, and
one school gave you that opportunity, Cam. One school,
you know, where it benefit me for the next 3-4 years and all, and I really chose to go somewhere. So where I want to go, I don't know if I want to pick up the hats or not, but I think I'll just call them, you know, like everybody.
That's Dion. That's Colorado. If he's calling the coach, that's Dion.
That's the best thing for me to do. But for the next 3-4 years, I'll be going to this place right here. But
yeah, that's why the weird camera angle. It all makes sense now.
Hope he
the riddle is coming together.
Oh, there you go.
Would have been absolutely amazing.
You knew it was.
Would have been absolutely amazing if Deion Sanders' cell phone number popped up on the screen. That would have been the epic ending. We just pick it up and call him.
So we still don't know what university he'll be playing at, though, in the future.
Yeah. How long is Dion? Best of luck to Kam Mikell.
Yeah,
again, it's been fun to follow his journey. And as a Tennessee fan, I would much rather see his talents go to Colorado than I would the University of Georgia. And you know, anybody that's a part of this community knows the reason for that. You know why I feel that way. You know why I believe. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Thoughts? Final thoughts?
Congratulations and good luck. You know, it seems like he's got a great family behind him that really cares about him, and he looks like a kid who buys in and cares himself. So even though we didn't get him, like you said, I'm happy he is not on an opponent, at least not yet. We'll see what happens, but congratulations to him and best luck to a good young man with a bright future in front of him.
Sign me up to play Colorado sooner rather than later. Go ahead and sign me up for that. I'm here for it. For it. Although I had some fun trolling you with Colorado early when it was benefiting me, and then it things kind of.
Yeah, I hadn't heard much about it lately.
I dropped that joke shortly thereafter. But hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a fun story.
That's true.
Dion is a snake oil salesman. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Dion's career at Colorado plays out. But regardless, man, I love talking recruiting. I love following these journeys. They always don't go our way. And, you know, I did think he was going to Colorado, as I said earlier. That's the way everything seemed to be trending. But it's always fun when Georgia fans are telling me that he's going to Georgia to get on here and watch him not pick Georgia. So that's always fun.
The only thing that had me thinking he might not was, I don't know if you caught Smoke Cavassier's comments the other day. Did you catch that? I think it was 2 days ago. I guess he just blasted Colorado and, you know, said, you know, they're not buying in. And no one cares, and they could have been undefeated had this team put in the work and cared and not just been worried about clicks and so on.
Where do you think Tennessee goes from here at the wide receiver position? Obviously, you got Mike Matthews, you got Braylon Staley. That's a couple of studs, but if you go back to kind of early in the cycle, it sounded like Tennessee wanted to take 4 wide receivers. Now here they sit as we get kind of down to the final hour. You got 2 committed. I know I put out a video on the Texas A&M wide receiver in the transfer portal. If you missed that, go back and check that out. That's kind of the beautiful thing, man. You miss on the recruiting trail, you can make it up in the portal. You think that's the answer versus trying to add somebody in the class of 24?
Yeah, I do. I think we got all the young talent at wide receiver you need between, Laycock, Webb, Nimrod. All those kids have a lot of talent. Boo could still end up in the slot as well. Just a ton of talent at that wide receiver position. I think we're going to be just fine there. And I think it would be hard to get on the field anyway. But I think transfer portal is where you go. I'm very, very interested to see what happens with one Brew McCoy in this offseason, because I think Nico really be licking his chops to have Thornton on one end, Brew McCoy on the other, Squirrel in the slot, finally able to play, Robin to a couple Batmans, and some great looking young rotational guys in Webb, Nimrod, and Laycock. So a lot of things to be excited about for Tennessee. But if Brew doesn't come back, then I think that transfer portal becomes extremely, extremely important to get some stability on the weak side or strong side, depending on where Thornton ends up. I think Thornton's more of a weak side wideout than a strong side wideout, but that's just kind of my opinion. We'll see, though. It'd be very, very interesting to see how that ends up. Speedy recovery to Brew, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I saw a video. I don't know if it was Instagram, somewhere floating around of him actually on a treadmill. So he's walking, he's bouncing back. We'll see. Best of luck to Brew, whether he comes back or whether he goes off to the NFL. Either way. Love me some Brew McCoy. Appreciate you guys tuning in on this Thanksgiving afternoon, supporting what we're trying to do around here. I know there's a lot of trolls, there's a lot of hate, but the bottom line is those of you that get what we're doing, those of you that get this community, those of you that understand why I can text Coach Jay. I always forget when I grab my phone, it's like 9:30. I'm like, man, I've been up for a few hours. I text Coach Jay, I'm like, it's 6:30 in the morning.
My phone died last night, so you were safe. You didn't wake me up or anything.
I could put up the bat signal, and Coach Jay's like, well, of course I'm going to come on and see where Kam Mikell ends up. I love it, man. I love recruiting. I love Tennessee football, even though I'm wearing an App State hat, or App State shirt. Clearly, I hate the University of Tennessee based on everything that's behind me here. But, man, I love it. They say, why would you come on here instead of spending time with your family? Guess what? I'm going to go spend time with my real family, but also spend time with my Talkin VAWLS family. That's what it's all about. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, myself, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, we're going to break down this Tennessee-Vanderbilt game. We're going to take a look at it. We're also going to maybe talk about this season as a whole. We'll talk about the future. We'll talk a little recruiting, all of it right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, bright and early tomorrow morning. If you haven't done so, smash a thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merchandise. We got a cult. We got a cult around here, and that cult has been divided. If you are a member of the Cult of Eight, the Cult of Eight, the future of Tennessee football, you can go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS and pick up your Cult of Eight shirt. Knoxville Predator Catcher drops a $5 super chat and says, how important is it for Brew to come back and prove he can make plays after this injury? I think that's the question. I think what he'll do, like everybody else, right? He'll send it off to the NFL. He'll get his grade stock back, and then he'll make that decision from there.
Correct. Yeah.
So
yeah, if he can play football, he will. Brew is so competitive. He does not want to hang up his cleats. I promise he will only do that if he's got no decision medically. So we'll see.
All right, we're going to get out the door. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Come hang out tomorrow morning. And then Saturday, I'll be dropping the game day video bright and early. We'll be live an hour before kick, and then we will be live immediately following the game. Moving forward from there, we're going to do the Sunday night fan call-in show. We're going to do the Monday morning show with Kaner, and then we'll kind of the schedule will be up in the air. We're going to be doing a Jordan Seaton live film breakdown. That may be the Wednesday show next week. I'll talk to Coach Jay, maybe talk to Coach Rice, see if that's what we want to do. We're trying to figure that out. We're trying to juggle that and balance that, but regardless, tons of content coming your way throughout the offseason. We'll be covering the bowl game, all that right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. But for Coach Jay, my name is Boogie Bentley. Happy Thanksgiving. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and